Hey everyone, thanks for joining my video today. Um, well, I just wanted to address something real quick before we get to the video for talking about Halloween. I know this is late and I know it's a long time coming. It's actually kind of been the issue that I've had this month. So, don't want to make excuses, but I just want to outline a couple of things. Obviously, I have been inconsistent with my streaming schedules and I apologize for that. This month was pretty rough when it came to, well, my full time day job and also family and things that I needed to take care of. Obviously, those things take priority, so doing YouTube and kind of live streaming has been kind of a secondary priority. So I hope you all realize that. And as you know, I'm moving into this. I mean, the focus primarily is to be consistently uploading on YouTube every week. So I'm going to continue to try to do that. I know kind of live streaming is a big deal as well, but I can say that live streaming might be kind of a distant second when it comes to the schedule for uploading on YouTube. So I guess the algorithm's working fine, but you just never can tell. But it seems to be, and you guys seem to enjoy them. So I'm going to keep doing these releases on YouTube consistently once every week. So, but I just want to highlight that it's again, it's not an excuse or anything like that, but priorities with family, the kiddos, obviously, family that I have taken care of here. It's been evolving. I used to kind of do just this as just kind of a hobby, but as you grow a family and you have other things kind of happening, those things take priority. So what I can tell you is that going forward, I'm going to continue to try to continue to get some uploads happening every week. And live streaming, I'll definitely continue to try to do. Again, it's very inconsistent, very late usually, just because, with small little kiddos, you got to try to help get them to bed, and sometimes they don't sleep as much as you would like. Sleep's always in short supply, especially this late in the game. But anyway, I wanted to explain that real quick before we dive into this. And I apologize. I know Halloween content has been a little sparse. I wanted to do a lot more, especially when it comes to Halloween this year, but just haven't had really time to do a lot of spooky stuff. So as we go into the holidays, I'm going to try to do that more. But anyway, I will follow up with this nice Halloween bit, and we'll talk about this as we move into the holidays and into the new year. So enjoy, and again, thanks for watching. I know I don't have massive army of folks watching, but for those that do, just know I appreciate you, and I really appreciate you sharing this around and stuff like you have. It's really been amazing. And I've been doing this for years, and it's just nice to see an uptick of folks interested in what you do. So anyway, just wanted to say that. Thanks, and put this out there first. And enjoy. Many horror games themselves stick out in my mind, but the one thing about Dead Space, Resident Evil, and a few of the other ones I've mentioned this month is most of them that stick out the most for the longest have one of the best introductions of terror. Dead Space is of no exception. As mentioned before, Dead Space itself has a fantastic introduction with the everlasting layers of gross nastiness, disgust, flesh, mold, and a number of other things that make up I almost said xenomorphs, necromorphs, that you can actually see here in some of the different video clips. Inspiration taking place from Event Horizon, Dead Space takes place on the ship of the USG Ishimura. Just like the Event Horizon, with all the gore, death, and destruction of all of its crew, you see the same thing in the USG Ishimura, but in a much massive effect. As many and all folks that are residing there are either mad, crazy, or in some ways, just memories.
Strange. Such a little thing.
How many times you watched that thing? Guess you really miss her. Don't worry, we're almost there. You'll be able to look her up once we're on board. Sounds like you do have a lot of catching up to do.
Right, everyone, we're here. Sinking our orbit now.
2008, Glenn A. Schofield was creator of Dead Space, and definitely wanted all those inspirations included into the game itself. With Isaac Clarke being the engineer, which is the main protagonist for this particular game, going on to the USG Ishimura, which of course is the inspiration from Event Horizon, as we previously mentioned. All the death, destruction, and gore that is found on the USG Ishimura isn't readily apparent, but as they continue to go onto the ship, it even further alludes that basically the ship in some way, shape, or form is alive with the most highest of horrific and terror in space, where no one can hear you
Never heard of
scream.
a total communications blackout on one of these things. You'd think with 1,000 people on board, someone would pick up the phone.
The one thing to note, though, is this particular game is fantastic and revolutionary in its user interface as well, user experience, as your life bar is on the back of your character.
You didn't lose power to the port booster. You lost the port booster. Unbelievable.
With also the beauty of having all of your visuals, the pause start menu, happening in a visual space from a projection from the front of your suit. The other thing that's fantastic about this is that it has a bit of a Metroid kind of tribute, as generally you're not even going to see Isaac's face through the majority of this game, except until the very, very end, with a few moments there that you can actually have the ability to look at him before if you happen to catch it. But as a new player, you're not going to see him until the very end. Funny enough, with Dead Space, I actually have a funny story. When playing this game for the first time, I actually obtained this game for my birthday for the PlayStation 3, and I didn't actually play it for almost over a year by myself, living in my own apartment. And at the time, I did have access to... It's kind of a stupid, but still funny story, to Jaeger at the time. And I decided I was going to play a little fun game of having a bunch of Jaeger, enjoying my weekend of finally doing all my finals in college, and just being able to sit down and play a game since doing full-time job, and then at the same time also doing a full-time college gig. I was able to finally sit down and play a game in its entirety, and Dead Space has been the one game that I wasn't able to actually play around this time. So around 2009, 2010, I remember having nice college drinks of Jaeger, getting a little sweet and enjoyable kind of experience, and then sitting down and actually playing Dead Space. I never screamed much more in my life, as I've gladly started playing and firmly shut it down probably after the intro that we're about to see here. That still sticks out in my mind because of that experience. So as you're introduced to the USG Ishimura, you see nothing but bloodstains and just nothing in the different areas. And then the game puts you in a situation of separating you from your team.
Look, if we all cooperate, we can figure this out a lot sooner. Let's get that computer display up, Isaac.
Of course, with this, you're not expected to have any weapons. All you're doing is looking around and looking at all the different areas and investigating until being told, load these different reports. Doing the first objective, first trigger point.
Taking a lot of damage.
The tram system's offline. Getting around is going to be difficult. The air seems to be flowing again. That's a start.
And then, of course, the first security measure that occurs.
Automatic quarantine must have tripped when the filtration system restarted. Everybody relax.
What was that? Did you hear that?
Not sure.
What the hell? I don't know. Something's in the room with us.
Jesus! Open fire! Open fire!
And then it's introduced of a necromorph.
Come on. Got it!
Isaac, get the hell out of there!
Your door's unlocked! Run!
Oh, God. Flashing lights, broken power centers, and jumping necromorphs everywhere introduce you to a new world of horror that you're about to spend in the next 10 to 12 hours. With the term or written image of cut off their limbs and blood from the dead body in front of you that has the plasma cutter that you stick to until the very, very end. The atmospheric conditions with all the different people asking for help is the scariest thing. After identifying that the best way to do this is actually to cut their limbs instead of going for the head, it makes the challenge a bit more difficult when facing against these legions and armies of the undead in a horrible, grotesque, and gory manner. This in and of itself, with this introduction, is really what sets apart for Dead Space for me. As highlighted in the beginning, you start to develop some different updated weaponry and some upgrades to your suit, but essentially you are all alone. Due to the limitations of different meetings, you don't actually tend to meet folks, at least in person, until later.
Everybody listen up. They use the vents. That's how they get
Finding the different audio logs, and then also seeing the different transmissions that are given from others. You're then how to get to them,
God, I can't believe you made it.
putting that carrot on the stick
Isaac.
of safety and security.
We ran into more of them on the way over here. Are you okay?
More what? What the hell are those things? Is that the crew?
Keep your voice down. Whatever they are, they're not friendly, and half the doors on this ship are locked because of the quarantine. Now, we have to get to the bridge. But first, we gotta repair the tram system.
You're crazy, Hammond. You're gonna get us all killed.
If you listen to me, I will get you out of here alive.
These different situations that are limitations of the PS3 at the time, as well as the PC, is really what kind of is creative in the sense of what brings terror. You can see the individuals, you could see others with safety and security in numbers, but unfortunately you never can get to them, and even when you do, it's always met with death and destruction. This limitation is actually what caused this game to be more horrific than I think was initially intended, because you're always going after that safety and security, always going to that next objective in order to make sure that you survive the night into the next chapter of Dead Space. And don't get me wrong, 2023 remake that was actually made for this game is fantastic, and I do recommend that you see it, but something about the original flavor, something about the limitations that just still to this day gets me to my core.